Welcome back to Fast Track. I'm Tony Manzo.
And I'm Kara Oko. Over the past 20 years, Purdue has had their troubles against the team from the Mid-American Conference. In 2009, the Boilermakers were upset at home by the Huskies of Northern Illinois.
This year, the Toledo Rockets look to do the same. Robbie Donahoe has the highlights from last week's battle with Toledo.
Paging Purdue's defense, the Boilermakers facing Toledo this past weekend. The Rockets bringing in the worst total offense in the country against the Boilermakers. It didn't seem to matter, though, as Austin Danton getting things started on the opening drive, finding Eric Page for a 5-yard touchdown. Toledo's up 7-0. Boilermaker offense stagnant in the first half, and more importantly, this. Robert Marr fumbles, Elijah Jones recovers, but Marv goes down, and once again, it looks to be another ACL injury, more than likely done for the year. Once again, another ACL injury coming onto the Purdue football team. Rockets take advantage of the turnover, though. 3 plays later, there's another touchdown. Danny Noble from Austin Danton. 14-0 Rockets. It's like Northern Illinois all over again. But Purdue, they get the defense revved up in the second quarter. Ryan Kerrigan, just a crazy, ridiculous game from him. He gets the sack on the play. It's 17-0 Rockets before Purdue finally gets the rushing game going. Dan Durking, 11 yards, first down, move the chains. Carson Wiggs, 35-yard field goal to end the half. Normally automatic from this range, but pushes this one right, no good. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Just, what is, confusion? Just flabbergasted. What is going on? 17-0 at the break, third quarter, though. Purdue ignite the fire. Keith Carlos, first game back from injury, picks up 15 on the ground, led to a Carson Wiggs field goal, 17-3, and then the Rockets blow it open. On the read option, Danton goes 56 yards untouched. Rockets lead 24-3 on the road. But give credit to Purdue. They showed resiliency and resolve as Jared Crank, the fullback, cranks out a 36-yard touchdown. His longest run of his career. It's 24-10 from Purdue. Defense responds, forcing turnover. Josh Johnson, the corner blitz, gets in on Danton. Jason Warner recovers. Purdue in business on Toledo's side of the field, and they take advantage. Rob Henry to Dan Durking, powering through for the touchdown. An 8-yard score. It's 24-17 Boilermakers. Henry was 17 for 31, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And again, more turnovers. Ryan Kerrigan, what a game from him. 10 tackles, 4 for loss, and 2 sacks. Got that turnover in Purdue. Here they come. Tavian Edison, 17 yards on the ground. It leads to a Carson Wiggs field goal. It's 24-20. Ensuing kickoff, though, Eric Page, the freshman All-American from a year ago, makes Max Charlot look just ridiculous. He gets 50 yards on the return. That would spell the end for Purdue. As later on in the drive, Austin Danton pushing forward on the quarterback sneak, a 1-yard touchdown, 31-20 Toledo, and they would run out the clock with a knee. The Rockets come into Ross-Ade and stun the Boilermakers, 31-20 the final. Toledo put up 378 yards of total offense on the Boilermakers. A week off for Purdue before heading to Evanston. Those highlights coming up in 2 weeks on Fast Track.
Now let's check up on some of Purdue's other sports teams. Here's Robbie and Sarah with this week's Sports Roundup.
Welcome to this week's Sports Roundup. I'm Robbie Donahoe.
And I'm Sarah Wortman.
After defeating rival Indiana a week ago, the Boilermaker volleyball team failed in their quest for an undefeated weekend as they fell at Northwestern in 5 sets. The Lady Boilers fell behind after losing the first set and couldn't complete the comeback in the 5th and final set. Ariel Turner led the Boilermakers with a career-high tying 24 kills, while Tiffany Fisher and Catherine Robarczyk each had 11 putaways. Purdue's back in action this weekend with road trips to Minneapolis and Iowa City.
The #1 ranked women's golf team rebounded after their poor start to the season, finishing in 2nd at the Mason Rudolph Championship. The Boilermakers recorded a school record 54-hole score of 845, which left them 2 strokes behind champion LSU. Mo-Amy LeBlanc paced the Lady Boilers with a 7 under 209 for the weekend, which tied her for the 4th best individually. The golfers return to the links next weekend in the Windy City Collegiate Classic.
The women's soccer team continues to build steam in the Big Ten Conference as the Boilermakers scored a tie and a big win this past weekend. Last Friday, Purdue took Wisconsin to double overtime but scored a draw against the Lady Badgers. On Sunday, though, the Lady Boilermakers got Jessica Warren on the board in the 84th minute to give Purdue their first conference win of the season. This weekend, Purdue hits the road to battle Illinois and Michigan State. The match against the Fighting Illini will be broadcasted on BigTenNetwork.com.
The men's golf team improved over the course of last weekend, finishing in a tie for 5th at the Windage Memorial Classic in Glenview, Illinois. Freshman Adam Shank notched 8 birdies on Monday to finish his day with a 6 under 65. The performance was the 4th best in program history and gave him a 3rd place finish in the event. The golfers will take a 2-week break before getting back in action at the Jack Nicklaus Invitational in Columbus, Ohio.
Finally, the men's and women's tennis teams will be back on the courts this weekend, as the ladies will be in Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Wolverine Invitational, while the men will look to bounce back after a tough weekend in Waco, Texas, with the ITA All-American Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can follow all of the results at PurdueSports.com.
That's all we have for this week's Sports Roundup. Robbie, what do you think about Robert Marv's ACL tear?
It is a big deal. The freshman redshirt Rob Henry is going to have to step in and take over the quarterback duties, but the bye time comes at the best week because now they have time to prepare for Northwestern with Rob Henry as quarterback. So look forward to that in 2 weeks. Now let's send it back to the studio.
Fall has arrived with force, but will it last? Here's Eric Larson with your local weather forecast.
We saw cooler temperatures outside for your Friday. On the forecast map, we see temperatures struggle to get in the 70s across our area. Didn't even make it to 70 in the Chicago area, and that's because of some of the features going on outside right now. We have a high parked off to our west, and with that clockwise flow around it, we're actually seeing cooler air from Canada being brought in for Friday, and that'll actually continue throughout the weekend. And then off the coast here, we see the remnants of Tropical Storm Nicole, and that's bringing much rain to the eastern coast. You can see a very high risk for rip currents off the coast there, but that's also keeping temperatures in the mid-70s as you approach the east coast. As we move into your Saturday, we see temperatures really struggling. We don't even get into the 60s for your Saturday. Temperatures across our area expected to be in the upper 50s. 65 as you get further south towards southern Indiana and southern Ohio, Cincinnati making it up to 65. But taking a look off to the north, there's not much relief up above. 49 in the upper peninsula of Michigan. Off to the west, we do see warmer temperatures, but those will stay off to the west as this high just continues to sit off out to our west. Your Big Ten game day forecast, Michigan at Indiana, kickoff time 3:30 p.m. We'll see temperatures in the low 60s. 50s for the Wisconsin-Michigan State game. Ohio State starts at noon with temperatures in the low 60s. Minnesota, it's going to stay cool, highs in the low 50s as they take on Northwestern at home. As we move into your Sunday, we see temperatures again struggling to get to 60. They won't get there here. We'll be in the upper 50s. And again, there's that warmth off to the west and it will continue to stay there. But we do see sunshine throughout our Sunday and even into our Monday. Taking a look at the Monday forecast map, we see sunshine all across our area. But again, temperatures only making it into the upper 60s. Here's your 7-day planner. 72 for Friday, 64 and a chance of rain on Saturday, 59 for your Sunday. And as we begin to move it later into the week, we see temperatures beginning to rebound slowly, but only making it into the upper 60s. I'm Eric Larson with your Fast Track weather forecast.
When it comes to video game developers, Bungie stands out among the crowd. On September 14th, Bungie released their latest video game, Halo Reach. This title acts as a prequel to their popular Halo series and has grossed $200 million on its launch day, setting a new record for the franchise. Caitlin McQueen has the details on the game.
Reach is Bungie's 5th and final installment in the Halo series, but future games developed by different companies are still a possibility. If you have already played the series, then you probably already know the premise, but for those of you who haven't, here's a quick summary. The year is 2552 AD. Humanity is at war with the alien race known as the Covenant. Taking place a few weeks prior to Halo Combat Evolved, Reach is one of the last human colonies left in the war. You are a Spartan, a super soldier if you will, who has been transferred to the planet Reach to fill the vacant 6th position on Noble Team. Your teammates on Noble Team are okay. They're kinda cool, but don't leave an impression, which is a huge problem. First off, the game tells you that you won't be going at it alone, but your teammates hardly help you anyways. You spend so little time with them, it's hard to create that emotional attachment. So it's really quite upsetting because when they bite the dust, you don't really care. While your efforts are heroic, in the end they are futile, since for those of us who already know, Reach inevitably falls. I don't want to spoil the whole plotline, but be prepared for a variety of missions, from first-person shootouts on the surface of Reach to interstellar starship warfare. This game has a little bit of everything. In relation to the storyline, I've got to say, this game tries too hard to be epic, but perhaps that's the point. It does wrap the series up in a nice little bow, but sometimes it feels like Bungie is choking me with the ribbon. Graphics are better than ever, armor enhancements are a sweet addition to gameplay, and assassination attacks are a stealth gamer's dream. Multiplayer is awesome, that comes as a no-brainer. Fish swim, birds fly, and Bungie handles multiplayer amazingly. Reach is another great addition to the Halo series, so if you're looking for that familiar Halo experience you know and love, this is the game for you, only with better graphics. This is Caitlin McQueen from Fast Track News.
When we come back, we have some great events around campus in Lafayette that will keep you busy all week.
Also, details on a new way students on campus are relieving stress. Stay with us.